Usually somebody says that right after telling you a racist joke. And then they tell you they heard it from their black best friend who has a generic black name. If they can remember their black friend's name at all, who's supposed to be their best friend. Huh. Something fishy going on here. In the same way as when somebody says, I can't be racist, I'm black. I can't be sexist, I'm a woman. Well, that was just a sexist and a racist statement. You can't be sexist because of your gender. That's sexist. You can't be racist because of your skin color. That's racist. This is common fucking sense, people. This isn't like trying to figure out the formula to create a kyber crystal. We live in the real world. This isn't Star Wars. The stuff that you guys come up with based on fantasy, you watch a little bit of Law and Order and you think you know everything, right? No, Law and Order is fucking drama. It's TV. You guys want the drama. Through all this, the people who got a hold of me, they weren't the people who were interested in the truth. They were people who were interested in drama. They found me because they're addicted to drama. If they weren't addicted to drama, they wouldn't be addicted to true crime cases. And they especially wouldn't be so fucking infatuated that they're getting a hold of somebody to fucking harass them. Oh, the Sean Schwartz guy. Yeah, I'll pretend to be his friend. I'll get all sorts of up in that. You are severely mentally fucking ill thinking that's okay. You like that? You like mentally ill being used in its proper context? The term mentally ill is literally only meant to discredit victims. That is all it does. It is for discrediting another human being. Otherwise, you would actually use their actual diagnosis. Hospitals need to have audio recording on at all points in time. So do the police. And they need to not be ever allowed to destroy it. Because if they're allowed to destroy it, first of all, that gives them incentive to commit crimes, to try to hide their crimes, including false charges that cost the taxpayers literally hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Just in the false charges alone, we're not talking at all about the settlements. We're talking about billions of dollars a year in settlements. So I'm using my car, I'm using up gas, tearing this thing down to nothing to make sure that I got a charge on the stuff that I need in order to actually be able to do the only thing that I can do at this point, which is continue to reach out for actual help. Someone, please, look at the fucking evidence. If I travel there to show you the evidence, please don't be a fucking alcoholic. Please, especially, don't be an abusive alcoholic. Please, don't be a fucking control freak. Please, look at the evidence instead of telling me to do things that I've already done. You guys want me to give you the crash course. Every time I gotta start off with a new set of people who watched one of these fucked up web sleuth shows and think that they know what's up. I gotta start over new. People never bother looking at the evidence. They just want to argue and tell me what to do. They're not doing them with me. They're just gaslighting the fuck out of me. If you're not doing it with me, you are ignoring exactly what I've been telling you since day one. I've been called mentally ill. That means I can't do it alone. I've already spoken to lawyers. I spoke to lawyers before and after Natalie Bollinger was killed. The most screwed up part for me is that my help, like Megan Misigatis, of course, she wanted to make the most important calls alone. Meanwhile, she hasn't bothered to find out what the fuck is going on. But she wants to make the most important calls alone. Meanwhile, she has permission to make those important calls alone, to set up an appointment. She does not have permission to tell a story that she hasn't even bothered to listen to the people who need to hear it. She does not have my permission to speak for me at all. As an advocate, she's supposed to be able to speak for me. She does not have my permission to speak for me for a reason. She hasn't bothered to listen. Through all of this, it was, we got to do what Megan wants. Megan knows better than Sean about what's going on in Sean's life. Megan knows better about the law than Sean does, even though Sean has actually gone through this stuff, and by her own admission, she never had. Then, there's the fucked up shit that was done. She's wanting to say that because these illegal things were done to me, that it makes it okay. Well, here's the point, Megan Mitigators. How are you going to advocate for me when, first of all, you're admitting that you don't know the law, but then you want to play fucking pocket lawyer? Everyone wants to play pocket lawyer after telling me they're not a lawyer. I show them the law and then they block me. Here's what the law says. Oh, I better block Sean. Or, yeah, Sean, that's our job. We'll help you with that. And a year and a half later, after them not doing their jobs, and then, of course, not doing their jobs to the point that a judge in Scottsbluff, Nebraska had to order Jen Beebe and Nicole Peralta to do their jobs. Do you know how messed up it is that Nicole Peralta and Jen Beebe had to be court-ordered to do a job? To do their job. They had to be court-ordered. That was in December of 2019. And as a result, both of them ignored me until May or June of 2020. If Jen Beebe had done her job to begin with, she wouldn't have had to be court-ordered to do that job. After being court-ordered to do that job, she went out of her way to avoid me altogether. And then, after being court-ordered to do her job and avoiding me altogether and committing multiple felonies in the process, allowing multiple felonies to be committed against me, she wants to tell me that she was misinformed and that I have to get a subpoena. This is why we need a guardian. When people are predatory, who get government tax money, like, of course, these therapists, you are their bread and butter. You try to turn in your predators, but you can't because you're called mentally ill. You are referred to mental health. You go to mental health, and the mental health places that you go to, you got a two-part system there. It's called a dual diagnosis clinic. So you've got a social worker, or not a social worker, a caseworker who is supposed to help advocate for you, and you've got a therapist who is supposed to help diagnose, which helps your advocate, your caseworker, to advocate for you. Obviously, the things that Marcia Estrada was telling me, and the things that my caseworker, Penny Cooper, were doing and saying, no, they were not matching up. The things that Penny Cooper told me did not match up with what Marcia Estrada told me, and neither one of them, what they said, actually lined up with what's on their letterhead. Meanwhile, I tried to explain and show to them both in person what was going on. Penny Cooper was making me show it to Marcia Estrada. Marcia Estrada was telling me that Penny Cooper is supposed to know this stuff, and Penny Cooper is supposed to do this, and Penny Cooper is supposed to do that. And then, of course, Penny Cooper always has some excuse why she can't. Oh, she's sick. Oh, she might have sick. Oh, she has COVID. And then a day later, she doesn't have COVID, but she still can't go. She made other plans while she had COVID. So literally, she is not doing any of the things that she is supposed to be doing through the Sears house. But she's still taking the money, just as Marcia Estrada is still taking the money. They're not doing any of the things that they are supposed to do, that they are mandated by law to do. They're both going out of their way to avoid the situation and not properly communicate. And of course, because of them and their negligence, that shit with my sister happened. That shit with Scott DaCosta happened again. Nicole Peralta, let me tell you something about Nicole Peralta. Nicole Peralta has been involved in the situation with me since January of 2017. This is only 3 months, less than 3 months, after I left Virginia. Less than 3 months after I left Virginia. By that time, I'd already gotten a hold of Maddie Boa to ask her for help putting a stop to it. I let her know what was going on, and I was very nice about it. I'd gotten a hold of Natalie and Alicia. I had unblocked them and Maddie Boa to let them know nicely what was going on, how I was being treated, and why. So then they blocked me. That's fine. I went out of my way to try to get the legal route taken care of, having people like Tim Beeson fucking calling me and threatening to kill my family and fucking messaging me on Facebook, threatening to kill me and my family, accusing me of being a child molester and a fucking druggie, accusing me of being on meth. You know how freaky that is for me, knowing the kind of violent man that he is? Natalie Bollinger let me know about Tim fucking Beeson. Natalie let me know about Tim Beeson. She was scared shitless of him, and she was scared shitless of her fucking dad too. Why did Natalie Bollinger do the evil shit that she did to me? Because she was fucking scared shitless of her fucking predators. Just like I gotta be scared shitless of mine, and for me being forced to go to my predators for help. How fucking wrong is that? What do my predators do? Predatory acts. That's what they're fucking good at. My dad doesn't care to find out what I'm going through. He wants to claim he wants to help me, but won't make any effort to find out what I'm going through. How is that supposed to work? My dad doesn't care about how much anxiety that puts me in, how much hell that puts me through, how much that wastes my time, and what precious little time I have, and what precious little resources I have. Well, I am afraid of getting my evidence fucking stolen. While I am one fucking ticket away from having my vehicle and all of my evidence stolen and being fucking stuck homeless, being stuck without the evidence that shows my innocence, that I have been victimized through all of this, and I have gone to the people I am told to go to. I need help getting it into court. If Marcia Estrada had done her job, it would be in court, not on YouTube. If Penny Cooper had done her job, it would be in court, not on YouTube. If Scott DaCosta had done his job, it would be in court, not on YouTube. If Waylon Lolatai had done his job, it would be in court, not on YouTube. If Officer Michael West had done his job, it would be in court and not on YouTube. If Officer Michael Beard had done his job, it would be in court and not on YouTube. If Jeff Ritter had done his job, it would be in court and not on YouTube. The evidence of the threats, harassment, and intimidation by the Bollinger family, both before and after Natalie's death, are documented. When lawyers told me I needed to document it, I needed to write down the times and the days, make sure that it was documented. And with the number of people in Colorado taking part in it, yes, I needed to go talk to officers. When I talked to Officer Ramos, You know, the things that he told me didn't exactly make me feel good or comfortable about going and trying to turn this shit in. I was hoping that Officer Ramos, before Natalie was killed, would help me to turn that shit in. By the way, Officer Abel Ramos of the Boulder Police Department is recorded. He is on my channel here. There's a lot of problems that the courts had that prevented me from having access to my legal rights. And then, of course, instead of addressing those things, they just simply say it's not their fault. It's not their fault that the kiosks were broken. It's not their fault that the money that was sent so I could use the phone was never sent there. It's not their fault that my public pretender didn't do her job. It's not their fault that the cops lied. It's not their fault that I was assaulted over these lies. It's not their fault that I was repeatedly tortured in the jails and in the prisons for telling on my abusers in the jails and the prisons. It's not their fault that the people who were supposed to do something about it didn't do their jobs. It's not their fault that I was denied access to legal materials. It's not their fault that I was pressed false charges against me for trying to turn in Scott DaCosta and William Barr and Leslie Snell and Robert Warnick. It's not my fault that Nebraska State Patrol repeatedly made me go to Scott DaCosta to try to turn in Scott DaCosta. It's not my fault that Nebraska State Patrol repeatedly made me go to Scott DaCosta, knowing that I was trying to turn in Scott DaCosta, forcing me to go to him to turn in the other crimes in town that he had been ignoring for years, which is the reason I was trying to turn him in to begin with. You are repeatedly forcing me to go to one of my predators to turn in my predators. He's not going to do anything except help my predators get away. You already know this. This is one of the reasons why you are supposed to do this job. When these guys tell me over and over it's not their job to police the police, and then they tell me that I need to go to a different jurisdiction, I got to go to Troop J, and I got to go to Troop E, and I got to go to Troop C, and I got to go to Troop D, and I got to go to all these different troops and call all these troops, and all of them tell me it's not their job, it's some other troop's job. And then, of course, these state troopers want to tell me that they called me on restricted numbers, knowing full well that I was being threatened, harassed, and intimidated by restricted numbers. Leslie Snell was angry because she was on my YouTube channel. And of course, what did she try to do, even knowing that there was a safety risk and that I recorded it all on YouTube? Even knowing these things, she went out of her way to pretend, even knowing that she was recorded on YouTube. This is the greatest thing about me being able to record that court date. The evidence that Leslie Snell lied through the whole goddamn thing is still up. The evidence that she is a lying sack of shit who took advantage of her position within the sheriff's department to cover up her crimes and to illegally, knowingly, and intentionally prevent me from going to court, prevent me from having access to legal materials, and prevent me from turning in my predators. Not only that, but Joan Hansen helped yet again. Polly Olson helped yet again. By Polly Olson's own admission, it is because these people in the sheriff's department are her friends. By her own admission. Where's Polly Olson now? Well, she stole $18,000 from the taxpayers of Dual County, so she's in some pretty deep shit. She also did the same thing. She helped Scott DaCosta to siphon money from the taxpayers of Chapel, Nebraska, in order to try to threaten, harass, and intimidate me, and to literally have me tortured, to force me into a position where my predators could deny me my medical rights, cut me off from my disability, cut me off from my support network, to steal my evidence and destroy evidence, to threaten, harass, and intimidate witnesses. And you know what? I tell all these people, if you're going to tell me anything that you're not willing to tell the police, don't tell me. Because I will tell the police, and if the police won't listen, I will tell the public. Don't play me for fucking stupid. I am highly intelligent. I grew up in the system, all right? I grew up in the system. So when it comes to the system, you should probably fucking listen to me. Instead of pretending that I grew up under a fucking rock, in a bubble, in a fucking terrarium, surrounded by people who are dressed in unicorn costumes and serving me hand and fucking foot. You pretend that disabled people are fucking pampered. No, we are treated worse than all of you. By the courts, by the public, by everyone. We are blown off. Sure, if we're disabled and we're attractive enough that you can't stop thinking about our penises or what size it could possibly be, and when you're typing on Facebook about how you just want somebody to smash your innards, yes, I'm well aware that that is a metaphor for having sexual intercourse. I'm well aware of that. You want him to smash your guts. That sounds really gross to me. I don't know why you guys want to use that terminology for such a thing, but it sounds pretty nasty. Like in a diarrhea kind of way. Ew. So then, of course, when you type on there, like Selena Maestas, she's one of those people who wanted to pretend she was going to help me too. She wanted to type about how she needed her guts smashed. She's a stripper who complains about how horrible men are. She breaks up with her boyfriend all the goddamn time over who knows what. Complains that she needs to get her guts smashed. And then, of course, there's guys on her Facebook who are hitting on her. She says she needs to get her guts smashed, and these guys are offering. You are literally asking for sex. Men are offering you sex, and then you are going, ew, you're gross, that's nasty, ew, this is not a solicitation. Holy fuck. All right, it's not a solicitation, it's a complaint. You're complaining that you're not getting laid. But really, the way that you're wording it isn't just a complaint. It's an advertisement for you need to get your guts smashed. And I should probably explain to you the whole situation with Selena Maestas and how fucked up a situation that was. With her talking about how horrible men are, and you can see the men. See, she's got, at the end of it, she wanted to claim that she's just got one boyfriend, and it's been the same boyfriend since the beginning. I also got to see the guys that she treated like they were monsters for hitting on her, and the ones that she was shameless towards. Shameless towards. Two guys could say exactly the same thing. One of them is short, not so attractive, kind of scraggly, little bald on top, kind of pockmarked face, not a very attractive feller. And then, of course, there's the tall, dark, and handsome guy who's got a perfectly straight, whitened smile, clean-shaven, nice full head of hair, nice, expensive outfit. And when those guys hit on her, despite the fact that she's only interested in one man, is what she claimed at the very end, when those guys hit on her, she ate it up like candy. She was completely shameless about her vagina with those guys. Blatantly on her Facebook. What's the difference between those two men? Their looks. Meanwhile, Selena Maestas just wants to talk about how men are pigs and all men want is sex. She's literally a sex worker. She's a stripper. That's what she does. Anyway, I'm supposing I should probably be done with this. I'm not even sure what I titled the goddamn thing. The fact is, we've got women manipulating the shit out of us and then telling us that we're the manipulators. We're the narcissists. We're the predators. Meanwhile, women are 11 times more likely to be stalkers than men. They're a lot more likely to get other people involved. most of the violence perpetrated by men against other men is over women. Most of it. Most of it is over drama that we have taught women it is okay to play. We have taught women and told them, oh, well, because you're not as strong as a man, it's okay for you to do these things. No, it's not. And we need to judge that on an individual basis, whether or not a girl is stronger than a man. You want to pretend I'm stronger than Desiree? She could break me in half on accident. You want to say on average? Well, yeah, sure. We can go with averages. The averages of where? Where? Geographically. Because, of course, the demographics geographically are different as well. In Russia, women are much, much stronger demographically than women in the United States. Women in Russia, demographically, are also more likely to work heavy construction jobs. Women in Russia are also more likely to know how to handle a firearm. That's because in Russian schools, you are taught in high school. Every high school student in Russia is taught how to shoot a gun. How many school shootings they got in Russia? I'm waiting. How many school shootings were there in Russia last year? Anyway, good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.